Well, our next guest has done a lot for charity, helped to raise more than £100,000 for the Grenfell survivors. She's now being shortlisted for a global teacher prize, which is worth $1 million US.
And if that's not impressive enough, then Eartha Pond's also a local councillor and plays for, Tottenham Ladies Football Club. OK, well, you know what, Eartha, there's some good stuff in that CV, and there's obviously at the end a shattering low moment for you of playing for Tottenham. You used to play for Arsenal, didn't you?
I did, yes, I did start my...
What happened? You're like the Sol Campbell in reverse.
Well, what I've ddone is I learned the tricks of the trade, and then I put it to a club with great supporters like Lord Sugar.
Yeah.
Can we get a taxi for Eartha, please?
Who set themselves goals and...
Eartha, it's lovely to see you. We talked to you several times in the immediate aftermath of a horrendous fire.
And it's 6 months now, of course.
And you were so eloquent, you were so passionate, you really were an effective voice person for everyone that was there. Where are we with Grenfell? 6 months on, everyone inevitably moves on. The people of Grenfell can't move on. Some of them can't even move out of their, temporary accommodation. What is the situation in reality for the people whose lives were so disrupted by Grenfell?
I think in summary, what we look at is there's still going to be 4 out of 5 families still in hotels or accommodation, which is...
4 out of 5?
4 out of 5
After
families.
6 months?
After 6 months.
And why is... I mean, the argument is that many of them, having lost everything, quite rightly, want to take the time to make sure the accommodation they eventually choose as their home is actually what they really want. Is that the real sticking point, or is there a genuine concern that the government is not doing enough to put them into good enough properties?
I think it's a mixture of those narratives. So in regards to making sure that they go into an accommodation that they feel safe in, that they don't have to move out again. And I think there was a lot of stuff in regards to, are they going to have a like-for-like housing situation? And I think we've come to a point where legally we've agreed something, so it's about now. I know the government have purchased houses, and it's a time for them to then go to those properties once they've been allocated.
I think it's really hard for them, and particularly the children actually, as we come up to Christmas, especially if they're in temporary accommodation and considering what's happened to them. Do you have lots of contact with them? How are they doing? How do they feel about this time of year?
Again, I think especially with young people around this time, they have the opportunity to go out to schools and to socialise and maybe not to think about it as much, because when we're going on holidays now, we're thinking they're going to be cooped up in those rooms, they're not going to have their family network around them, which is going to be really, really important. And if we look at things such as mental health, which is massive at the minute, this is only going to be another kind of sticking point in regards to the recovery.
People talk a lot, Eartha, about PTSD, and I have an issue with it being over-prescribed as what people are suffering from in many cases. There can be no doubt, if you survived that horrendous fire, I would imagine that the trauma and the stress that you have endured, all those people, it must be very real and very bad. It's very real and it's very bad. And what people don't seem to understand is actually some people haven't even started to grieve or to think about it. So we're not talking about the weeks and months subsequently. We're talking about in 2 years' time, in 5 years' time. The lack of support that's been there so far is embarrassing. And if we look 5, 10 years down the line, when maybe something sparks something that makes them have this trauma, is there going to be services available even? What should the government and what should the council, what should people be doing more that they're not doing enough? It's all good for us to give opinions, but I think we need to listen to the survivors. We need to listen to the people that are directly affected. They're the only ones who can give you the answers. They're the only ones that can tell you specifically what is needed. We can all speculate and say this is what we think should happen, but no one's voice is more important than theirs.
Well, your voice has been so articulate since the tragedy. And now you're being recognised because you're one of 4 UK teachers to make the final 50 for this Global Teacher Prize. I mean, that's an incredible achievement in itself. It would be incredible to win £750,000. How do you feel about the fact that you've made that list?
To be honest, I nearly missed the email because I was so busy. It was at the bottom of a trail of emails. But it's fantastic, not just for myself, but for the teaching profession overall. I think it's fantastic that obviously Sunny Varkey and the Mohammed Sheikh have actually recognised the impact that teachers have globally. And sometimes it's easy to just assume it's what we're there to do, and it's more than just teaching academically. It's about holistically how can we make our young people better to go out into the bigger, badder world, which is waiting for them.
One of the things we were talking about yesterday on the programme was Christmas presents for teachers, and some authorities ban them. Do you get lots of nice things? Do you get lots of nice recognition at Christmas from the kids that you teach?
I get a lot of jip, if that if that counts. But it's good banter, and I think we go there. It's a job. We go there to do it, and the recognition that we get is in regards to the results that the students get, and seeing them grow individually and as a cohort. That you can't ask for anything more
and I
than
know that you like to encourage girls in particular to do sport in order to express themselves. Do you feel that you're getting somewhere with that?
We're getting somewhere slowly, but that's, if I did win, that would be one of the things that I would try and kind of implement. It's really important, especially when we come to round about adolescence and puberty. Girls slip in regards to taking part practically, and one of the things that I think is really important is I've never ever remembered girls being encouraged to actually have a sports bra as part of their PE kit. I think nationally that should be something which is looked at, because self-esteem, they're really conscious about how they are when they're playing sport, and I think that's one thing that needs to be kind of implemented across the world, that if you've got a good sports bra, that takes that bit out of the mind, and then you kind of just focus on how am I performing, how can I progress. So I think a sports bra as part of your PE kit is essential.
Brilliant idea.
Good idea. Eartha, you do a lot of great stuff, both at the school, with Grenfell and everything else. You are exactly what this country should be about, so thank you very much. Just a shame, really, that you played for Tottenham. Otherwise, I'd be a big fan, as it is, obviously.
At least gives you more opportunity to watch us in the Champions League, but...
Oh!
We'll move on.
Why don't you come back in February and see if it's still in the Champions League? All right. Good to see you, Eartha.